course, Texas is where we'll be in mid-March, out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Denton, Texas. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit towards the end of our program. Well, let's go out to Texas where we find our next guest making their first appearance on Res Room tonight. They are an all-female Christian alt-rock band based out of San Antonio, Texas. They were formed in November of 2023. They're made up of two best friends, Bethany and Celeste. Their sound ranges from alternative rock and southern rock to lo-fi and more acoustic-focused songs. Their lyrics are raw, honest, that address deep issues and personal struggles in their life while still offering a tinge of hope, covering such sensitive topics such as struggling with mental illness as a Christian, wrestling with doubt, intrusive thoughts, anxiety, depression. The goal of their band is to bring a message of hope, raw honesty, and truth that comes from their faith in Jesus. The band's name, which is one of the things I was curious about, the band's name comes from the concept of beauty despite the brokenness and struggle of life. 2 Corinthians 12:9. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome beautiful defects to the show. How are you?
Hi, we're doing
Hello.
good.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit before we get started about how you came together as a band and what led to the formation of Beautiful Defects here.
Sure. So, first off, we are an all-female band. Obviously,
But
my husband is filling in today. So, yes, you see a male. This is my husband, Jared. He's going to be helping out with some fills and stuff. But yes, so the band is me and my best friend Celeste right here. Celeste plays the drums. I write the songs. I play guitar and sing. And as far as how we became a band, so it was definitely a God thing. We both individually have been musicians for a long time. Most of us, we all grew up doing music. For a long time, I was, wanting to get into music, but I was trying to work up the courage to play my own stuff that I'd been writing for a while. I was trying to work up the courage to be a solo artist, and I met Celeste. Her and I were Facebook friends because she was actually the co-host of a podcast called Heavy Worship Nation, and they interview Christian rock and metal bands. So I was her friend on Facebook, but I didn't actually know her. Like, I hadn't met her in person. And I got a job working at the elementary school that she worked at, and I didn't know that. I was looking for a job, and I got a job as a library assistant. And she works at that school still. She works with the special needs department, and has a really big heart for the kids there. And so we met, and it was kind of one of those lightning moments where it was like, wait a second, you look familiar. Do I know you? Like, where do I know you from? And then finally it clicked, because the podcast that she was on had reached out to my husband to ask him for an interview a few months back. So like everything just kind of aligned. It was definitely a God thing, because I know it wouldn't have worked out that way otherwise. But yeah, so Celeste and I, we became fast friends almost immediately. We started hanging out, and she would drive me to home, from work, because we live very close as well. And one day I was like, yeah, I have some stuff I've been writing, and I can't play drums. I can play guitar, I can play bass, I can sing, but I cannot drum to save my life. And so, and
I guess
Celeste,
that's where you come in back there.
yes, and that's why Celeste is such a godsend. When I say that, I really mean it, because she's an amazing drummer. Yeah, so basically I showed her my music, and she was like, hey, I want to fill in on your tracks and help you out. And I said, sure. And we thought it was just kind of going to be a one-off thing, like for recording. And then before we knew it, it was like, we're practicing all the time. She's learning all my music that I'm writing, and we're like, wait a second, are we a band now? And so, and of course, like, there was some prayer in that process, I wanted Celeste to make sure that she was being led, to make it official and join and make it a group. And so after a little bit of prayer and consideration, Beautiful Defects became officially a group last year. And so as we mentioned, the name Beautiful Defects, I kind of came up with it because when I was thinking about the heart around the songs that I write and what we wanted to talk about, two verses came to mind. There's the verse that talks about we are treasures in jars of clay, talking about how God works through our imperfections. And then also the other verse, obviously, talking about his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So those were kind of the two passages that were coming to mind when I was thinking about, okay, like what do I want us to be about? So yeah, that's who we are.
That's fantastic. Let's get into our first song. What's the first song you have to share for us tonight?
All right, so this song is called Alone. It's actually the only single that we have right now. It's out on Spotify, so if you guys want to hear it, you can look us up on Spotify. This song is pretty special. These lyrics were actually written by a very close friend of mine from high school, and he sent the lyrics to me because he's like, I can't play music, but the Lord has really been working with me through some hard times in my life lately, and he had been struggling with a lot of feelings of isolation and loneliness. And so he said, God help me. He gave me these scriptures and he gave me this song, and I wrote it down, but I don't do music, so I thought maybe I could give it to you and you could do whatever you want with it. And so I had the lyrics for a while. Fast forward a few years, when Celeste and I were trying to decide which song to do first, like put out first, we agreed that this song would be the best one to start with, because I really resonated with it, and when I read the lyrics, I knew that they were going to resonate with a lot of other people too, because I know that everybody feels alone, and whether we're single or married, whether you're in a crowd of people or all by yourself, I know that we all go through that. So this song's called Alone, Travis' song. Travis is my friend who wrote it. I just put music to the lyrics. And this one is kind of more Southern rock feel. So, all right. So we will start. Oh, yes. And if you go to Spotify, you'll see it'll say featuring Jaron Toohey from Epigone. That is my husband here. He has his own alt rock band called Epigone. So he's going to be helping us out today, and he also was a champ setting up our sound and our tech stuff. So I'm very grateful to him. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start. So this one is called Alone, Travis song. For this day, it is written every morning, your mercy is new. And you walk beside me with every step I take. So why do I feel so alone? I feel alone with every step I take. I feel alone. sufficient enough will make it flow.
Great stuff from beautiful Defects right here on this edition of Red's Room here on this Saturday night. What are some of the things that you guys will be working on here in the coming weeks and months? Some more new music, more performing at your church, all the above. What are some of the things that you guys have got working on?
All right, I'm so glad you asked. So, as I mentioned before, that last song you just heard, that's our first single. As far as what we have coming down the pipeline, we are actually getting ready to go into studio again to record another single. And you're actually going to hear that song tonight. That's part of our set list. So yeah, we're getting ready to record some more, and we're also hoping to do some more live shows.
Your church?
Yeah. So our church building, our pastor was gracious enough to let us use it today. But Celeste and I are a two-piece right now, so we're kind of still trying to find some more venues to play around town. I'm very grateful that San Antonio actually has a very alive and well Christian rock scene here. My husband's band is just one of the many very talented bands that we have down here. A lot of them are friends, they're brothers and sisters, and so we have some potential places that we can play. We've just been, because we're new, we've been trying to start out slow. We really want to be intentional, about everywhere that we go. But we are planning on possibly doing a show at a local spot. And we do go out of the church, not just staying in the church, because we want to reach people too. We want to minister to people outside the walls of the church as well.
Good stuff. Deborah Scott says, I love that passage. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. Indeed. Monica says, the band name is awesome. Love the song. Love the sound. Kim says, love them. Duffy Ann says, I am super sick. And you know what? This made my day.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Song two, what do you guys have for us this evening?
All right. So everybody say bye to Jaron, my husband Jaron. Bye, Jaron.
I'm on that single, so.
he is on the single. Like I said, if you go to Spotify and you look up Beautiful Defects, you'll find that song. That was called Alone. Travis' song featuring Jaron Toohey, which is my husband, and his band Epigone. They haven't released any music yet, but they will. So definitely keep an eye out for them too. All right. So now for our next song.
Which will be the next single.
This is going to be the next single. So you guys get to hear it here first. This song is Celeste's favorite. It's called Hourglass. And this song has a very personal testimony to me. So as you mentioned briefly before, I write lyrics talking about real struggles in my life. And one of the things that I dealt with, I grew up in the church, but even though I've known the Lord for a long time, I really struggled with depression and anxiety for a long time. And one of the things that really tied, that was a big root of that anxiety was that I was very fearful of death. And obviously the word has promises about death, we know we're not supposed to be afraid of it, but I am a very intellectual person, and things that I don't understand scare me.
That's how we bonded.
We both have the same issue. We both have very similar struggles, and when I was sharing my testimony with her, after getting to know her for a little while, we were seeing a lot of this common ground that, it's one thing to say, oh, I trust in God, and you hear people say that all the time, but, I really do believe that there are a lot of people who, they almost feel like they feel guilty because they're Christians, but they struggle with anxiety. And so we want to, I want to come from a real place and say, hey, just because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean, that you won't struggle with these thoughts, or these feelings. And, I had my struggles for a while. I had a prodigal phase, where I kind of fell away for a while because of all those questions that I felt like, weren't really getting answered. And I have a very big heart, for prodigals, and for people, like in our generation who grew up in the church and maybe they walked away, maybe they fell away. But for me, God's story in my life was it was a story of God reaching out to me in the middle of my, really the darkest place of my life. And at one point, I was in a mental hospital inpatient because my anxiety and my fear of death had gotten me to the point where I couldn't function. And the Lord met me in a very real way in the hospital and showed me in a way that only He can, because, He knows us, He created us, right? He understands our heart because He formed us. And He gave me a way to have peace about, the unknown, and to understand that, we can trust the future because we know who God is. And if we know His character, and we know that all His promises are true and that He never lies, we know that we can trust Him with the things that we will not understand, until we have crossed over, into heaven. And so God was able to bring me from being in a place of absolute terror when I thought about death and eternity to a place of peace. And so that's the heart behind the song. It's called Hourglass because it's talking about the fact that all of us are subject to the passage of time. Like it says in the Bible, the grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of the Lord stands forever. But I wanted to talk about the hope and the fact that we don't have to live our lives in fear of death because of who God is and what He did, on the cross. We can have a very real hope that lasts even beyond the barriers of what our mind can comprehend. So that's kind of what Hourglass is about. And this will be the next single.
Also, I was going to mention, if you feel any resonance from what Bethany has shared, because we have both gone through the exact same thing, you can feel free to message us on our platforms, which we will announce later on.
Yes, please do. We want this to be a ministry. Our heart is to reach out to people, and to minister to them, through the depression, through the anxiety, and to give a lasting hope, and, to do our best to give real answers, because I'm a firm believer that as believers, we do have real answers, Well, we don't have a blind faith. We have a living and true faith. So that's where our heart is. But yeah, this song's called Hourglass, and this will be the next single that you hear from us. We're getting ready to go in the studio and record it, and once it's out, we'll release it on Spotify and all streaming platforms.
You ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
From the first day I opened my eyes, I've been struck by a relentless enemy. With every grain of sin, I watched my life slip by. I've been afraid of losing everything. The flower withers, beauty fades. Nothing ever stays the same. I can't pretend that I don't see it, and I can't run away. But I nothing that we can do, but we were built to last. And as this moment becomes past, my heart keeps shouting out what it knows is true. I've been waiting till the day when I will pass this world. And I will be forever free, only forever. And time will be my enemy.
Indeed, beautiful defects here on this edition of Red's Room. Deborah Scott says great testimony. Monica says love it, rock on. Kim Romero, I have a feeling this entire upcoming album will be one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you so much.
Good stuff. Of course, you guys have an amazing testimony that is helping shape some incredible songs out there. And you guys have one last one to share for us as well. Tell us about this one here.
Yes, yes, we do. So this third one is called "Weight of This World," and this song was one of those ones that just I feel like God gave it to me. It just kind of sprung out of my head in one afternoon, which usually doesn't happen. But it came from honestly from a place of frustration, feeling helpless, as I'm sure many of us have felt. I know that I'm not the only one who's experienced this, but I was at a point in my life where I was going, God, I want to help people, I want to do things, but I feel stuck, right? Like I feel like I don't have a lot to give. I have struggled, with finding employment for a while. I have some health concerns, just some external life situations that had put me in a place where I felt like I wanted to do great things for God, I want to reach people, I want to help people, but I was feeling very helpless. And the frustration that came out of that, that's kind of where the song came from. I sat down with my guitar, I was like, I feel frustrated, God. And this is why I feel frustrated, praying out loud, as I'm sure a lot of us do. Just telling God how we feel. And I started strumming, and before I knew it, I had this song. One of the things that God was showing me, I had written in a journal. I do like to journal, it helps me keep my thoughts together. A few years back, I had written on a page, God, I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. And after I prayed a little bit about it, I wrote down what I felt like God was saying to me, which was, you were not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. because you're one person, you know? You're a human being. Your shoulders aren't big enough to carry the world, but the thing is, you know, we serve a God who is, you know? He's all powerful, and yet he's all gracious and all merciful and all just, all in one. And so this song was a very big comfort to me. I felt like God was speaking me through it, so I hope that it can comfort other people too. So this one's called Weight of This World.
It's all you. Yep. Make sure it's turned up this time.
Here I am, awake again. Just need some space inside my head. It's getting pretty crowded. All this suffering, all this pain, compassion steals my breath away. Just hope to do something about it. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just one voice, trying to scream into this void. And I am just one life. I do my best to try, but I'm losing my mind. 'Cause I keep carrying the weight of this world. No, I can't carry the weight of this world. Trying to believe it's true, otherwise afraid to live, steady up this life. Of this world, you weren't meant to carry the weight of this world. And I am in one voice, spoke life out of the void. And I am in one life, I took it all in myself, more than ever. And I can carry of this world. Yeah, I can carry the weight of this world. So try to let go of the weight of
Indeed, it's beautiful defects right here on this edition of Red's Room. Great to have everyone here with us on this Saturday night. Thanks everybody for tuning in and for watching. I saw Elizabeth to creep in here as well. Thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. Zoom.us/my/Red's Room. That's the place you got to go for the after party here in just a little bit. Beautiful defects from the great state of Texas. We are running tight on time. If you guys have another one, we've got to make it pretty quick though, because we're trying to make up some time here on the broadcast tonight. Do you guys have one last one here?
We do have one last one. Is there time for it? Because
If we pretty much lead right into it, yeah. Let's
okay,
get right into
yeah.
it.
All right, let's lead into it. Give me just a second here.
Lots of great stuff here still to come. Of course, Lisa Fenstermarker, Joey Osborne, John still left to go here tonight on Red's Room. Beautiful defects in the great state of Texas, San Antonio area. Great to have them with us here on the Saturday edition of Red's Room here on this January 18th. Happy birthday, Mom, by the way. It's my mom's birthday today.
All right, so I had to do a different tuning for this one. This is one I wrote actually back in high school, and it's called When It All Comes Down. I wrote this out of a place of depression, but I was also looking for hope, and I was looking, for people to be there in the middle of my struggles. So this one's called When It All Comes Down. This will be our last one.
Beautiful defects. Beautiful defects here on Red's Room.
All right.
It's beautiful defects right here as we're rocking for Jesus tonight here on this edition of Red's Room. Fantastic stuff to all of you guys tonight. It's such an honor having you here on our program for the very first time here tonight. It's so great. Just guys got a unique sound that I'm sure is just going to appeal to so many people. And I'm so glad that the Christian rock scene is alive and well in the Texas area. You guys are a wonderful addition to that rock scene down there. Tell us where we can continue to connect up with you and your journey and keep up with everything you guys have got going on musically here to come.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having us
Yes,
here
thank
again.
you.
Thank you so much, everybody who's here and who listened. We appreciate all of you. So you can find us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Beautiful Defects. If you look us up, you'll find us. You'll recognize us by our picture. It's a drawing I did. It's got one hand over the face with the flower. That's how you know it's us. And we are on Facebook, Instagram, and then we have our music on Spotify. So if you look up Beautiful Defects on Spotify,
And all streaming platforms.
all streaming platforms, so Apple Music, iTunes, all that stuff. We're there, YouTube as well. Our single is on there. So you can find us there and follow us on our socials, and we will be hopefully posting regularly. We're trying to be better about posting regularly, but we will be keeping everybody up to date on our upcoming recording and all the music and events that we have coming out in the future. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Amen. Kim Romero says, great drumming. Karen Shiloh from Washington, good to see you. Let's have a moment of prayer as well for Beautiful Defects. Lord, we just thank you for everything they're doing in San Antonio. Lord, we just thank you for bringing the band together. We just thank you that you are continuing to inspire them with music and lyrics that will continue to impact hearts. Lord, we just thank you for their amazing testimony they have as well. Testimony that through their music will be able to break the yoke of bondage. And Lord, we just thank you. That you're using their testimony to continue to shape hearts and continue to change lives. So the eternal hope that we find in you, Lord. And we just thank you that through their testimony, you are showing them how that Lord, that you are not a respecter of persons. That if they can overcome what they have gone through in you, then so can others. And so that's what they want to do, is to give that hope that they found in you and give it to others in hopes that they find that same hope. And Lord, we just thank you for the great work that they're doing. Lord, we just thank you that you continue to inspire them, continue to craft their sound, continue to have them strive to be excellent where they are. Lord, we just thank you for them being here on this program tonight. And we just thank you that you continue to provide for them personally and professionally as only you can. And we just thank you for them and all the other artists who are joining us tonight. We just thank you for all these things that you're doing for them and for their band. And thank you for bringing them together and for bringing them here. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. You guys are wonderful. Beautiful Defects, everybody. Give it up.